Here are today's top news stories and why they matter. The Economic Community of West African States, or ECOWAS, has suspended Guinea-Bissau from its decision-making bodies after an extraordinary virtual summit of heads of state and government. The move comes as the ousted President Umaro Sissoco Embaló flees to Senegal. So what's next? The new military leadership, which calls itself the High Military Command for the Restoration of Order, insists the coup was necessary to stop a plot by narco-traffickers to capture Guinean democracy and announced that a transition period will last 1 year, beginning immediately. Guinea-Bissau's latest coup is the 9th in West and Central Africa in the past 5 years, continuing a long history of political instability in the country. Uganda is changing how it responds to people seeking refuge in the country. The government says it can no longer keep up with the rising numbers of asylum seekers and failing international support, prompting new restrictions on who qualifies for refugee status. DW's Frank Giga reports.
Uganda has announced it will stop granting refugee status to new arrivals from countries not currently at war, including Ethiopia, Somalia and Eritrea, as it grapples with the refugee population close to 2 million and a steep drop in donor funding. Relief and Refugees Minister Hilary Onek says the decision follows years of generous asylum policies that are no longer sustainable, especially after support from the UN Refugee Agency shrunk from around $240 million to just a fraction this year. The announcement came during a food donation handover in Gulu, meant to support refugees already in the country while the government reassesses new applications. Uganda has long been praised for its open-door policy, granting refugees freedom of movement, access to work and education. But this sudden shift is likely to spark concern among the international community and neighboring states. I was on the streets of Kampala to hear what ordinary Ugandans think of the move.
If a country has had a war in the previous, let's say a decade, 5 to 10 years ago, that country is still having effects of those wars. There was a war in 2015 in Somalia. People there are still suffering from the effects of that war. So I don't think it is right for the country, for Uganda, a major power in the East African community, to not allow in these people so early.
I think it's a good move by the government, because when these refugees come here, I think when they are stopped from coming here, Ugandans can get better services.
If we continue allowing them into Uganda, we could realize a more increased number, maybe to about 10 million people, refugees. And this may not become economically viable in the future.
Before we go, we turn to a powerful voice shaping Africa's civic space. Namatai Kwekweza, a fearless advocate for youth rights and constitutional reform in Zimbabwe, has been awarded the 2025 German Africa Prize for her outstanding role in defending democracy and inspiring generations. She joined my colleague Tomi Oladipo in the studio to reflect on what this moment meant and why solidarity remains central to her fight.
This is a full circle moment because, when I started this organization, I was 18. And it's quite unusual that you have young women, in their activism, leading institutions that are able to make such a significant impact. So this award goes beyond just me, but I think it is the representation of the collective dreams, imaginations, and hopes of the young people that we are working with. And definitely it means that there is an awakening towards youth leadership, and particularly the leadership of young women, and also willingness to recognize it and support it across the continent.
And just like Kwekweza said, such an award goes a long way for the youth and the continent. And that wraps up today's top news stories. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe to our channel DW Africa. I'm Chinaza Samuel.